Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Spooky AF. I'm your host, Suz, and I'm here with just in the pinnacle of health and prowess, are you not, Rob?
I am. Yeah, thank you so much for pointing out how healthy I currently feel. I absolutely was not out last night, and I absolutely do not feel like absolute death this morning, so...
You would never.
No, I take paranormal podcasting very seriously, Suz.
I mean, as anyone who's listened to our show before knows, that we are committed to the integrity and the research.
Absolutely. We have a standard to maintain here, and I absolutely would not go out the night before and...
Rob, what is the current lumen level in the room you're sitting in?
Probably like -1.
Are you sitting in a Vanta black room?
I am. And that even still is not dark enough for my eyes. So I've turned down the brightness on my monitors to as low as they can possibly go. Everything's in dark mode, which it is anyway, because people should only use dark mode.
Oh,
and I've just made my room just as cozily dark as I possibly can.
Well, I'm glad you said cozy, because I'm going to get into it in a second. However, I wanted to start you out with the ongoing series of Suz Learns Gen Z Words. I learned a new one this week.
Oh, God. Right, okay.
So, okay, Rob, what does glazing mean?
Is this... do you know what? I actually don't know. I was going to say, is this in relation to like gooning or something, but...
I was going to say, for once, it is not sexual.
Okay. For once.
Yep.
I have no idea.
Okay, so glazing means like you're brown nosing, or you're like really gassing somebody up.
Okay.
Like you're really like sucking up all that. So like if somebody's doing that to like your boss or something, you'd be like, oh, there's like just the glazing is real. Ugh. So that's your takeaway word.
That's a term I could actually get on board with, to be fair. Like I'm actually okay with that.
I thought so too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, I'm on board with this. I did learn another one. It's bet, like BET, but I don't know the context for it fully yet, so I can't present it to you in its full definition.
That's fair.
So I've heard people use it, and
okay.
But I don't feel comfortable implementing it yet, so I'll hold back.
Well, we're all about integrity here, so I'll wait until you learn what it is, and you can return.
Yeah, I mean, and like when we're doing this podcast in 20 years, I'll just be like, and today I learned about holograms. Like, or something. I mean, like some augmented reality shit behind my eyeball.
Yeah, it'll be some... What are they going to be at that point? What, like Gen Beta terminology?
Oh no, it'll probably be like Gen Omega or something.
Yeah, there is going to be a Sigma generation at one point. Like, the crypto bros won't be able to deal with that.
Oh no, they're gonna have that. See, my problem is that, you know how they say like... Sigma grind set? I've been saying Sigma bus grind set because I say that's the state of mind you need to be in to catch a bus in Dublin.
Yeah.
Like, to catch a bus, you have to think like a bus in Dublin.
Well, yeah, you see, the thing is, to catch a bus in Dublin, you technically need to not have to get the bus, and then it will show up.
Yes. Oh, yeah. And it will take you exactly to where you need. It's like the night bus in Harry Potter. Yeah. Like, if you're in the right state of heart, it will appear and take you where you need to go.
Yeah, you can't let the bus know that you need its transport services, because then it won't show up.
Absolutely not. I mean, there's a reason why they used that little, like, Irish text in Buffy to summon a fucking demon. Because
it's actually easier to do that than it is to summon a bus.
Oh, 100%. I don't think we've shared this on the podcast yet, but we have a new piece of lore for the podcast in that it is just true that in order to summon a banshee, all you have to do is serve Guinness in, what was it, like a Carlsberg glass or something?
Yep, that would do it.
Yeah.
It's enough of a war crime in Ireland that the banshee's going to show up.
So take that one away with y'all guys.
Yeah.
Okay, so now that we've gone that, I want to... You mentioned cozy and how dark your room is, and I think it's that time of year again. We're feeling cozy. We're, like it or not, we're feeling the dark weather, and I think that means it's the perfect time to inject even more spooky into those vibes. So I think it's time for Grimm's Fairytales 2, A Spooky Boogaloo.
Oh my god. Yes.
So... I know you enjoyed the last one, and I think I've picked one up that is also equally insane.
Oh, this is amazing. I was only literally just thinking yesterday, like I was going through all of our episodes, making like lists and stuff so we know everyone that we've done, and I got to the Grimm's Fairy Tale one and I was like, we should have done more of those.
Oh, well, we've got a doozy. So sources, I'm once again using the compilation from D.L. Ashleman, who is a professor emeritus of German at the University of Pittsburgh. If you're wondering, he's a leading expert on folklore and fairy tales, and he maintains a website on folk and fairy tales that's super well respected in the community, apparently, amongst folklorists. So I'm using his translations. He's fluent in all kinds of German, so we are using the English translations of that. So before I get into the one that I've chosen, I want to remind people what we did last time. So last time we looked at a few, but the main one we looked at was the juniper tree, in which, I don't know if y'all remember, there was cannibalism, murder, convincing a child they murdered someone, more cannibalism, a magic bird that like charged the townspeople for shit, like, and then the murder, and then like further murder.
Yeah, like it's just standard German things, you know.
Yep, just early modern German things.
Actually, now that I think about it,
yep.
I think when you did that episode last, I had also been out the night before.
This is just now how you recuperate.
This is an annual cycle for me. Is when I go out for Christmas drinks, Suz comes in with fucking Grimm's Fairytales.
Well, this is my version for what you do for me, which is announcing when it's fall and when it's spring.
Thank you. I needed this.
So, yeah, we are each other's fucked up almanac. Yeah. So I wanted to start out with some titles that I saw that I looked into, but I'm not going to do today, but I think that they are pure vibes.
Okay.
Oh, also just to note, if y'all are ever looking into Grimm's Fairy Tales, some of them are super duper anti-Semitic, and so for obvious reasons, we will not be going into any of this.
Yeah, no, we're not
but
about that. But
be aware that is like, yeah, we are not a hate podcast.
No, absolutely not.
So just to be aware. But so some ones that I didn't go into but have amazing titles are The Mouse, the Bird, and the Sausage. Yeah. Right. The Singing Bone.
I
know. The Girl Without Hands.
Well.
You know? Hans Dumb. As in dumbass.
What a fucking brilliant name.
Exactly. I'm going to start dropping that as an insult. Like, you fucking Hans Dumb. And then All Kinds of Fur.
Jesus Christ. Right, okay.
I know. But today I will be doing an early one. I'm doing number 4, which is called, and you're going to love this, The Story of a Boy Who Went Forth to Learn Fear.
Wow. Okay.
I know.
I'm in.
So, you're in. Yeah, we're in for... I saw that and I was like, I want to know what that journey was like. So this is a story of, in my opinion, ingenious weaponized incompetence, dumbassery on the level of Idiocracy, the film, demonic cats, literally gallows humor, and good old-fashioned, like, general cruelty towards children. There's a touch of necrophilia, which is also super fun.
Oh, wow. Okay. I don't think we've ever said that sentence before.
Yes. Somebody has, but in a very different context. So yeah, let's dive into it. So I'm going to be like reading bits and then we can talk about it as we go along like we did last time if that suits.
Oh, it absolutely does.
So a father had 2 sons and the oldest one was like, he was that Sigma grind set. He was clever and intelligent and he quote knew how to manage everything. However, his younger brother was stupid and couldn't understand or learn anything.
Of course.
And that's how we start out.
Yeah. Okay, very good. That's already a good start.
Yep. When everyone saw the younger brother, they said he will be a burden on his father. And I'm like, I know, I have lots of friends that are burdens on their parents. Like, come on, let's cut some slack.
Yeah, totally.
It's hard times.
Yeah, you let them be.
Exactly. All right, so now when something had to be done, it was always the oldest son who was the clever one who had to do it. However, if the father asked him to fetch anything when it was late or at night, or if it led through the churchyard or some other spooky place, the oldest would always answer, "Oh no, father, I won't go there. It makes me shudder," for he was afraid. So, the key term for this story is shudder.
Right, okay.
Now, in evening, by the fire, when stories were told that made one's flesh creep, the listeners sometimes said, "Oh, that makes me shudder." And so the youngest son is hearing the word shudder a lot, so he would sit in the corner and listen with the others, but he couldn't imagine what they meant. He would think to himself, they're always saying it makes me shudder, but it does not make me shudder. That too must be a skill that I do not understand.
Oh my god, he doesn't understand fear.
So, no. I mean, and it makes me think, like, I mean, as you go along, I mean, like, dear listeners, see if you also pick up on some, like, low-key psychopath vibes. Like, I don't feel fear kind of thing, rather than, oh, I'm just brave.
Oh, I was thinking more along the lines of he's just bringing that BDE in here. Just that big dick energy.
That I was thinking that big dumbass energy, but I think both are correct. That big dick dumbass energy. Yeah. Like, oh, well, you know, God gave men 2 brains and only enough blood to think with one, and he's definitely thinking with the other. But so as it happened one day, the father was really fucked up and like was very much tired of this boy listening in the corner doing nothing, and was like, listen, you here in the corner, you're getting big and strong. You too will have to learn something by which you can earn your bread. See how your brother puts himself out, but there seems to be absolutely no hope for you.
Very good.
So, which is harsh. So the father says, well, father, I do want to learn something. Indeed, if possible, I would like to learn how to shudder. I don't understand it at all. So the oldest son laughed when he heard that and thought, dear God, what a dimwit, which is how I want to start out all emails going forward. Dear God, what a dimwit that brother of mine is. Nothing will come of him as long as he lives. As the twig is bent, so grows the tree.
Oh, wow. What an insult.
Yeah. What? I mean, the shade.
Holy shit. That is like some fucking...
Yeah, I mean, that is like... even if I were the dumbass brother, I'd have to be like, well, snaps, I feel really, really small now.
Yeah, you're like, thanks, I feel great with myself.
Yeah, that was really effective.
I learned how to shudder just from that one line, thanks.
Exactly. What is the opposite of glazing? Yeah. I'm getting singed. Yeah. So the father sighed and answered the boy, you may well learn to shudder, but you will not earn your bread by shuddering. And like the implication there ending being, you dumbass.
Yeah.
But afterwards, lo and behold, the sexton, so the local priest, came to the house on a visit, and the father complained to him about his troubles, particularly his younger son, who was, quote, so stupid in everything. I mean, Jesus Christ. So he said, just think, when I asked him how he was going to earn his bread, he actually asked me to learn to shudder. Like, what a dimwit. So the sexton says, well, if there's nothing more than that, he can learn with me. Just send him to me. I will plane off his rough edges. Red flag.
No.
Like, coming from a priest in the early modern period, like, red flag.
No.
Yeah, it's not great. So the father agreed to do this. He said, yeah, it should do the boy some good. So the sexton took the boy home with him and asked him to ring the church bell. So he awoke him at midnight, told him to get up, climb the church tower, and ring the bell.
It's this boy called Quasimodo.
Rob, don't fucking spoil. We get there when we get there. No, so it's not. So you will. So the sexton was like, he'll soon learn what it is to shudder. Which again, bad vibes. A grown man and a boy. But anyway, he secretly went there ahead of the boy to the church tower. And when the boy reached the top of the church tower, he turned around and was about to take hold of the bell rope when he saw a white figure standing on the steps opposite the sound hole. It was the sexton, but the boy didn't know that. So he said, "Who is there? Answer me, or get out. You have no business here at night." The sexton remained standing there motionless so that the boy would be scared and think he was a ghost, and therefore learn to shudder. So the boy shouted a second and third time, "What do you want here? If you are an honest fellow, speak if you are an honest fellow, or I will throw you down the stairs." And the sexton thought, well, he can't mean that. And so he didn't make a sound. So, lo and behold, the boy ran toward him and pushed him down the stairs.
Good.
That's what I'm thinking. He stated boundaries and then he followed through.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, he fell down 10 steps and remained lying there in a corner. The boy then rang the bell, went home, and didn't say anything to anyone, and fell fast asleep. So he's just seen what he thinks is a ghost. He's pushed a ghost down the stairs and then just gone to bed.
What an absolute legend. This lad just came over and just fucking punched a ghost as far as he's concerned, and he's like, gotta ring the bells now. Yeah,
I mean, for those of you who are Magnus Archives fans, which you should all be by this point because we never stop fucking mentioning it gives off the vibes of Joshua Gillespie, who he froze the key to the coffin in water, so he just wouldn't, and then he just ignored the coffin in his living room for months on end.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's very much those vibes. So the wife of the sexton woke up and didn't know where her husband was, and she asked the boy, she goes, "Where is he? He climbed up the tower before you did." And the boy replied, "Oh, I don't know. Someone was standing up there, but I said, give me an answer, but he didn't, so I took him for a thief and I threw him down the steps. You can go and see if he's the sexton. Sorry if he was." So the woman ran out, found her husband lying in a corner moaning with a broken leg. She carried him down the rest of the flights of stairs, and then hurried to the boy's father with the boy, saying, "Your boy has caused a great misfortune. He threw my husband down the steps and broke his leg. Take this good-for-nothing out of our house."
Very good.
Yep. So the father was alarmed, ran to the sexton's house, and was scolding the boy and said, "What evil tricks are these? The devil must have prompted you to do them." And then this is the best argument ever. He said, "Father, do listen to me. I am completely innocent. He was standing there in the night like someone with evil intentions. I did not know who it was. I warned him 3 times to speak or go away." And I honestly thought that was pretty fucking logical. I just love the idea that be like, look, I said either speak or I'll throw you down the stairs. He chose his options. So the father said, "You know what? You have caused me nothing but unhappiness. Like fuck the fuck off. I do not want to look at you anymore." So the boy said, "Yes, father, and gladly. I will wait until daylight, and I will go forth and learn how to shudder. Then I shall have a skill that will support me." And the father said, "Learn whatever you want. It's all the same to me. Here, take $50 for you. Take them and go into the wild world. Tell no one where you came from or who your father is, because I am ashamed of you."
Wow.
And he said, "Yes, father, I will do just as you wish. If that's all that you want from me, I can easily remember it."
Holy shit. Okay.
Oh, and by the way, note, a thaler is a German monetary unit from it's where we get the English word for dollar. It was a large silver coin minted in the states and territories of the Holy Roman Empire during the early modern period.
Damn, so he's got some...
Because it comes up a few more times.
He's got some walking around money there.
Well, I was like, $50. I mean, it's like when you see some... Like, I messaged you that thing. I was like, oh, I'm in 1920. I drop a nickel. I've just lost the equivalent of $30,000. Like, I imagine it's something like that.
Yeah, absolutely. This lad's got some wedge now. He's walking around. He's got some walking around money. You know, he's...
Oh, yeah.
He knows what he's about.
He knows what he's about, and I like the idea that the father was like, "I'm willing to give up what could possibly be my life savings to never see your fucking face again."
Yeah.
And like, I'm investing in you never coming back.
That's a vibe. Like,
That is such a vibe. So at daybreak, the boy put his $50 in his pocket and went forth, continuously muttering to himself, "If only I could shudder, if only I could shudder." So a man came up to the boy and heard this conversation that the boy was having with himself, and he walked a little further on to, he led the boy and said, "Hey, come with me." He said, "I can teach you how to shudder," and he led him to some gallows. And he said, "Look, there is the tree where 7 men got married to the rope maker's daughter," which is, what a great way to say 7 men were hanged. Like, that's
oh,
great.
what a fucking fantastic line.
I don't know how I'm gonna use that every day, but I'm gonna try.
Oh, yeah. There's a responsibility now on us to use this.
Yes, 100%. So he goes, so they got married to the rope maker's daughter and are now learning how to fly. Oh,
wow.
What a I know.
Oh my.
Like, let that one sink in. So sit down beneath it and wait until night comes and you will learn how to shudder. So the boy said, he was basically like, all right. He said, if there's nothing more than that, I can do it easily. But if I learn how to shudder that quickly, you shall have my $50. Just come back to me in the morning. So the boy went to the gallows, sat beneath them, and waited until evening. But he was cold, so he made himself a fire. At midnight, there came up such a cold wind that in spite of the fire, he could not get warm. And as the wind pushed the hanged men above him against each other, causing them to move to and fro, he thought, you are freezing up there. Come sit with me. You must be suffering. So feeling pity for them, he put up the ladder, climbed up, untied the men one after the other, and brought down all 7 to sit around the fire with him.
Oh no.
So if you're not paying attention, skippers, this boy climbed up, untied 7 dead men from the gallows, and propped them up in a circle around the fire with him like some sort of demonic tea party.
Probably, I would imagine, varying states of decay at this point as well.
Oh yeah, for sure. So he stirred up the fire, blew into it, and set them all around it to warm themselves. So you're like, he is such a dumbass.
Yeah, he is.
So, because he just doesn't understand that they're dead. So, but they just sat there without moving, because they're dead, and their clothes caught fire. So he said, be careful, or I will hang you up again.
Oh my god.
The dead men heard and said nothing, because they were dead. And their rags continued to burn. This made the boy angry, and he said, if you won't be careful, I can't help you. I don't want to burn up with you. So he then hung them all up again, and sat down by the fire and fell asleep. Which makes me think, is he like dummy thick? Like for a young boy to kind of haul about literally dead weight of 7 men, that's kind of impressive.
Got that dump truck ass.
Yep, I mean he's really got the gains in the body department because his brain is so smooth.
Yeah, you know what, that checks out. Like that's pretty much how it works.
He's like the lovable goon in a mafia gang. Like, he's like, yeah, right on it, boss, and then he immediately fucks something up, but he's fucking huge, so they keep him around. Like, that's how I think of that.
Fair. Yeah, I can see this. Yeah.
So the next morning, the man who told him to go to the gallows came up and wanted to have his $50. So he said, well, do you now know how to shudder? And the boy said, no, where would I have learned it? Those fellows up there did not open their mouths to tell me. They were so stupid that they let their old rags catch fire. So the man saw that he would not be getting $50 that day, and went away saying, never before have I met such a fellow. Which... I guess I would also be horrified if I walked up, received that response, and understood, oh wow, you were basically maneuvering dead bodies in the night. You scare me.
Yeah, like, there's no real way to deal with that situation if it happens as well. Like, the guy had the best response of basically just like, yeah, so I'm just gonna leave. Best of luck there, you fucking freak.
Oh yeah, it was the minute where he was like, you know what, I have not a fucking pence to my name, but I am gonna back out of this situation so fast because I wouldn't go near that motherfucker with a gun. Like, it is not worth it.
No, this is not your fight, bro.
Nope, not my monkeys, not my circus. No. Nope. So the boy went on his way and once again began muttering to himself, oh, if I could only shudder, if I could only shudder. So there was a cart driver who heard him say this and asked, who are you? I don't know, said the boy. So the cart driver said, okay, where do you come from? I don't know. Who is your father? Ah, I know, but I am not permitted to say.
Phenomenal.
So he goes, okay, well, why are you always muttering to yourself? And the boy said, oh, I want to be able to shudder, but no one seems to be able to teach me how. So the cart driver said, oh, stop this foolish chatter. Come walk along with me and I will see that I get a place for you. Which I think was just the cart driver being like, he's clearly profoundly dumb. Yeah. So, like, I feel like I should...
I now have a responsibility for this child.
Yes, exactly. I mean, because that's how those things worked. Maybe it's still how they work. I've passed many a Dublin teenager where I was like, let me take you somewhere and we'll buy you better, like, not gray tracksuits, and we will talk about like self-actualization.
Let's get out of that Canada Goose, buddy.
Yeah. My guy, the broccoli haircut is nay for you. Oh, sorry, these are some really Dublin deep cuts. Apologies to those who are listening from other places. Yeah. But so the boy went with the cart driver and they went to an inn where they decided to spend the night, and on entering the main room, the boy was still fucking talking to himself saying, I wish I could shudder. So the innkeeper heard it and laughed and said, well, if that's your desire, have I got an opportunity for you? So the innkeeper's wife said, oh, be quiet. Too many meddlesome people have lost their lives already. It would be a pity and a shame if this boy's beautiful eyes were never to see the light of day again.
Right.
So the boy said, no, I want to learn to shudder, however difficult it may be. This is why I left home. So the innkeeper, he gave the innkeeper no rest until he basically just annoyed him until the innkeeper said, look, there's a haunted castle not far away where you can learn how to shudder. If you watch there for 3 nights, the king has promised that whoever could do so could have his daughter's hand in marriage. And she was the most beautiful maiden under the sun. So, furthermore, in the castle there were reported to be great treasures guarded by evil spirits. So the treasures would then be freed if you waited all 3 nights and survived, and would make a poor man rich. Many had entered the castle, but no one had come out again. So the boy, being a dumbass, went to the king and said, I can do this. I want to learn to shudder. And the king looked at him and said, you may ask for 3 things to take with you into the castle, but they must be 3 things that are not alive. To this the boy replied, I ask for a fire, a lathe, and a wood carver's bench with a knife, because I think he was just pulling words out of a hat.
That is oddly specific.
That was like, I will take a plastic funnel, a douching kit, and a fern. Like, he was just thinking of things.
Yeah, like, he started off good with the fire, I suppose, and then
yeah, exactly.
Really just kind of floundered after that, clearly.
Well, I think ours will be, we will take a fire, a spirit box, and a temperature monitor.
Well, also...
that would be us.
Well, you also just you'd be like, and I'll take a gun, please, with spirit bullets.
Spirit bullets. I would also be like, is there an outlet for me to plug in my electric blanket? I get a little chilly. Like, that would be me trying to be comfortable while you're shooting into the air with spirit bullets.
Well, look, the spirit bullets work, you know. You turn the tables on the ghosts and all of a sudden they're like, oh, fuck.
I'm thinking of the bullets they have in Underworld that have like UV juice in them or whatever to kill the vampires, except it's just like ectoplasm or like negative ectoplasm or something.
Yeah.
The king was like, yeah, sure, all right. So he had the stuff brought over to the castle, and then toward midnight, the boy was sitting there and decided to stir up the fire. He was blowing into it when a cry suddenly came from under the quarters that said, meow, how cold we are. So the boy shouted, you fools, why are you crying? Should you be cold, come and sit down by the fire with me to warm yourselves.
Right.
So at that, the two large black cats came with a powerful leap and sat down on either side of him, looking at him savagely with their fiery eyes. A little while after warming themselves, one of the cats said, Comrade, shall we play a game of cards? To which the boy said, why not? But you know what? Show me first your paws. So they stretched out their claws, and the boy said, oh, what long nails you have. You know what? I'm gonna have to file these for you. So he seized the cats by their necks, put them on the woodcarver's bench, and tightened them into the vise by their feet.
Holy fuck.
He said, you know what? Yes. So he basically took the demon cat that we've talked about from the Hellfire Club and just grabbed him by the scruff of their necks and was like, y'all really haven't been taking care of yourselves. And so clamped them into a vise. But it gets better, because he says, you know what, I've been looking at your fingers, and honestly, my desire to play cards has all but disappeared. So he then struck them dead and threw them out into a pond that was outside the window.
Oh my god. This is problematic.
Just you wait, my good friend. My brother in Christ, just you wait. Yep. So, after he had put the two cats to rest, he was about to sit down again when from every side and every corner there came further black cats and black dogs held by red-hot chains. More and more of them appeared until he could no longer move. They shouted horribly and jumped into his fire to try and pull it apart. He quietly watched them for a little while, but finally he was growing annoyed, so he seized his carving knife and cried, away with you, you villains, and hacked at them. Some of them ran away, the others he killed and threw out the window into the pond with the other two cats. He then came back, blew into the embers of his fire until they flamed up, and warmed himself. He sat there, and his eyes would no longer stay open. Naturally, he had just expended a lot of energy killing demons, and he wanted to fall asleep. So looking around, he spotted a large bed in the corner. Just what I wanted, he said. However, he was about to shut his eyes when the bed began to move by itself, walking throughout the whole castle. To which then his response was, good, but let's go faster.
What the fuck?
So, the bed rolled on as if 6 horses were harnessed to it over thresholds and stairways, up and down, but then suddenly, hop hop, it tipped upside down and lay on him like a mountain. So he then threw the covers and pillows into the air, climbed out from under the bed, and said to the empty air, now anyone who wants to may drive, for I am tired. He then walked by the fire and slept until it was morning.
What the actual fuck?
I actually, because these are all supposed to kind of fable-y in a way. They're supposed to teach you a lesson. What am I learning here, Grimm? What am I learning?
I'm actually struggling here.
Is the lesson to be, willfully stupid?
Or...
I honestly don't know.
How to be a psychopath.
Yes. Is it the key to, unlocking the paranormal is just to treat it like shit? To be abusive to the paranormal? Ghosts are I don't like when she comes around, she fucking roasts us.
Got that Sigma male grind set right there.
Exactly. So in the morning, the king came to check on him and was like, oh, saw him laying there and assumed he was dead and said, oh, it's a pity to lose such a handsome person. So this, the king's dropping lore that this guy is a dummy but a hottie.
Yeah, absolutely.
So the boy heard this, got up and said, oh, it hasn't come to that yet. The king, astonished, asked how he had fared through the night, and he replied, one night has passed, the 2 others will pass as well. So the king was like, oh, all right, have at it. The boy was still saying, I wish I knew how to shudder still. I still haven't learned it. So as midnight on the second night approached, he heard a noise and commotion. At first soft, but then growing louder and louder. It was a little quiet, and finally with a loud scream, half of a man fell down the chimney and in front of him. Just half a
Very
dude.
good. Yep, as you do.
He shouted, hey, another half belongs here. This is too little.
Oh my god.
I mean, okay. The noise began again, and with roaring and howling, the other half fell down the chimney as well.
Very good. Yeah, okay.
So the boy said, "Wait, let me blow on the fire and make it burn a little warmer for you." When he had done that, he looked around. The two pieces had come together, and a hideous man was sitting in his place. The boy said, "That wasn't part of this wager. That bench is mine." Because the guy was sitting on his bench.
Jesus Christ.
So the man wanted to force the boy aside, but he would not let him, instead pushing him away with force, and then sitting down again in his own place. Then, more men began to fall down the chimney. They brought 9 bones from dead men and 2 skulls, which they then set up as bowling pins.
Of course. Of course.
The boy wanted to play too, and asked, "Hey, can I bowl with you?" And the men who fell down the fireplace said, "Yes, if you have money." And the boy, he's got us walking him out around money. He's like, "Hell yeah, I've got money." He goes, "But your bowling balls aren't quite round." So he took the human skulls that were being used as bowling balls, put them in the lathe, and turned them around. There, now they will roll better. And hey, this is fun. So he played bowling with the hideous men who fell from the fireplace, and when the clock struck 12, suddenly everything disappeared like Cinderella, so he lay down and peacefully went to sleep. The king came back and said, "How'd you do this time?" And the bull said, "I went bowling and lost some money, if I'm honest." And he goes, "Yes, but did you shudder?" "How? I had great fun."
Oh my god.
I know. So this is where things get unhinged. I say that now as if they haven't already been off the fucking
this
hinges.
is where it gets unhinged.
Yes. So on the third night, the boy sat down again at his bench and said sadly, "I wish I could shudder." So when it was late, 6 large men suddenly came into the room carrying a coffin.
Yes.
At this, the boy said, "Aha, for certain that is my little cousin who died a few days ago."
What the fuck?
Yeah, so he was like, he saw the coffin and immediately thought, "Yes, my dead cousin."
What?
Yeah. Don't know how he knew that. Nope, just that's just what happened.
Knew.
So and so then he motioned with his finger and cried out, "Come, little cousin, come." So the men put the coffin on the ground, he went up to it, kicked off the lid, and naturally, a dead man lay inside. He felt his face, and it was cold as ice. He said, "Wait, I will warm you up a little." So he went to the fire, warmed his own hands, and then laid him back on the dead man's face, but the dead cousin remained cold. He then took the dead cousin out, sat him down by the fire, and laid him on his lap, rubbing the dead man's arms to get the blood circulating again. When that did not help either, he thought to himself, "I know. When 2 people lie in bed together, they keep each other warm." So he carried the dead man to the bed, put him under the covers, and lay down next to him.
No.
He spooned him. You do, like cousins do that. You spoon each other.
Yeah.
When one of them's died. So, a little while later, the dead man did become warm and also began to move.
I'm sure he did.
So the boy said, "See, little cousin, I got you warm, didn't I?" But the little cousin cried out, "I am going to strangle you."
Very good. Yep.
So the boy goes, "What? That's my thanks? Get back in your coffin." Picked him up, threw him inside the coffin, and shut the lid. The 6 men who were just waiting in the room when all this happened carried him away again.
Yeah, okay. Yep, go on.
Yep. "I cannot shudder," he said. "I won't learn it here as long as I live." Then a man came in. He was larger than all the others and looked frightful. But he was old and had a long white beard. I'm thinking Saruman vibes, so maybe like Saruman who hasn't showered.
Yep, fair.
So he said, "You wretch," he shouted, "you shall soon learn what it is to shudder, for you are about to die." And the boy said, "Not so fast. If I am to die, I will have to be there."
What?
The philosophical deduction here is just peak.
Yeah.
I suppose if you die, you do have to be there. Fair. Is that like Cartesian logic or something? I don't remember my intro to philosophy.
This boy has basically just like fucking checkmated him. Just like
it's like when you see a Reddit comment that they've like absolutely think has just nailed into the coffin.
Yeah.
And then you're just somebody's like, "You're a fucking idiot."
Yeah.
So the monster said, "But I've got you." And the boy goes, No, don't boast. I am just as strong as you are, and probably even stronger." Which definitely gives me those Sigma male vibes of like, I could fight a bear.
Yeah, this boy's on juice. Like he knows what he's about.
I mean, that's the smooth brain, isn't it? That means he's got what? If he's on juice, he's got small balls, big tits, no brain.
Yeah, but muscles for days.
But other muscles. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So,
absolutely.
He's...
Yeah, he is smooth brain except for the anger.
Exactly. Yeah, he's...
Yeah, so...
He's got a chin that doesn't
except for the
like
violence. Now I'm thinking of him as like an anthropomorphic version of like anger from Inside Out. like a younger version. So the old man says, well, we shall see. If you are stronger than I am, I'll let you go. Come, let's put it to the test. And I was hoping they'd start arm wrestling or something, right? Nope. The old man led him down through dark passageways to a blacksmith's forge. He took an axe and with one blow drove one of the anvils into the ground. So the boy saw this and said, I can do better than that. Which, I mean, the audacity.
Yep, you know what? Fair play.
The old man stood nearby, wanting to look on. His white beard hung down, so the boy seized the axe and split the anvil with one blow, wedging the old man's beard into the crack in the anvil.
What an absolute legend.
I mean, that's PogChamp.
Yep.
What a gamer move. So the boy goes, now I have you. Now it's your turn to die. So he seized an iron bar and beat the old man until he moaned and begged him to stop, promising that if he stopped, he would give him great riches. So he's just,
So he's beaten
an
old man to the brink of death, basically, with an iron bar.
I'm imagining the, like, Smeagol pre-The Ring just beating the shit out of Saruman with a crowbar. But, like, jacked Smeagol. So, like, with those crazy eyes, but also, like, just muscly. Yeah. So, the boy pulled out the axe and released him at the promise of riches, and the old man led him back into the castle and showed him 3 chests full of gold. Of these, the man said, one is for the poor, the second one is for the king, and the third one is yours. This doesn't come up again, I didn't know why they included this line, but apparently the old evil man was like, but these are the alms for the poor.
Very good.
Which, I mean, fair enough, capitalism is the enemy. There is no ethical consumption under capitalism.
Yep.
So, the clock struck 12, and the spirit disappeared, leaving the boy standing in the dark. The boy then said, I can find my own way out. And then feeling around, he found his way to the bedroom and again fell asleep by the fire. The king came in again the next day and said, now you must have learned how to shudder. And the boy said, no. What is it? My dead cousin was here, a bearded man came and showed me a large amount of money, but no one else showed me how to shudder. So the king said, you have redeemed the castle and shall marry my daughter. And the boy said, that is all very well, but I still don't know how to shudder. So the gold was brought up and the wedding celebrated. However much the young king loved his wife and however happy he was still sad, saying, I wish I could only shudder. So at this point, his wife's chambermaid said, I can help. I know how he can learn to shudder. So she went out to the brook that flowed through the garden, caught a whole bucket full of minnows, and that night when the young king was asleep, she told his wife to pull down the covers off him and pour the bucket full of cold water and minnows onto him so that the little fishes would wriggle all over him. The wife did this, and the boy woke up crying, oh, what is making me shudder? What is making me shudder, dear wife? Yes, I now know how to shudder. The end.
Oh my god.
So in the end, he just got the wiggins from some fish.
Holy fuck. Like, there's so much to unpack here.
Okay, opinions, thoughts.
So firstly, I love it.
I'm glad, I hoped you would.
Really good story. Big fan.
Yep.
However.
Yes.
They went to some dark places with this. Some strange places as well.
I feel like they went to dark places as if they weren't dark places, which made them even darker.
Yeah, they normalized the dark places. And as someone who's currently sitting in a dark place.
As someone who is a dark place.
Yeah. I don't know what part of the story I find the most shocking, because it's all fairly mental.
I also love that it felt like the story was constructed as if both the Grimm brothers were just yes-anding each other based on Mad Libs.
They were, 100%. There's no way you could have written the story with any sort of logic.
No, and okay, but what is the moral here? What is this teaching a child? Maybe it's raising like Spartans, because it's like, don't be afraid of death, like dead bodies. Don't be afraid of like spirits or creepy old men or like none of that shit. No. However, you can be freaked out when you feel a little gross.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah.
Like it's okay to be. You're still masculine if the fish freak you out.
Yeah, obviously, Yeah, they should have just called this story "How to Be a Fucking Legend."
POV: How to Be an Alpha, and then you have some American alt-right Christian YouTuber who's like, you know who wasn't afraid to deal with dead men? Fucking
Jesus.
Jakob Grimm.
Jesus.
Jakob starts with J. You know what else starts with J? The J Man. Jesus. Also, he never come.
Yeah.
Like, that's it's like he just gooned for days. It's how he maintained his strength. If you want to be able to haul 7 dead men down from the gallows, guess what? Porn is not the answer.
Yeah. No Nut November. How about No Nut Life?
Oh, and then I'm like, and then at the end, because of that, he got gold and a beautiful woman with a body count of 0.
She was pure.
So she's pure. Like all women should be.
Yep, that checks out.
See, it was a woman's role to teach her husband, support him in what he wanted to know, and she did.
Yeah, and any of you liberals think that there's some sort of coincidence that all of a sudden a woman knows how to make him scared because she's a demon.
You know what the real terror is? Feminism.
That's what the metaphor was.
Where did we go? Where did we go? Just we went to arguably the darkest place.
We did. We're in the dark timeline currently. So.
Oh God, yeah. I do love the idea that Jakob and Wilhelm Grimm in an alternate universe are recording short form TikToks about like how all the moral of their story is how like women shouldn't be allowed to do anything.
I mean, there's someone out there absolutely doing that. I'm sure. There has to be.
I mean, yeah. Like, well, they're basically looking at it and they're like, okay, there were 7 hanged men. You know what got them in that news? Supporting women doing math. Woman.
Yeah.
Like, the girl math. It was girl math. They agreed with their wives, like, earning coin. Because, back then they would have said coin. Yep. Like, earning coin. And, honestly, that's where this all went wrong in this moment.
Yep. They said we should give them the vote, and he ended up with a noose around his neck.
Well, yeah, because that's what the women voted for. That's what women will always vote for. Just hang them all. So yeah, this has been the sequel, the first sequel of the Grimm Spooky Boogaloo.
I am so glad that we've done this. I can't wait for round 3, inevitably next year, when I'm again feeling terrible.
I'm gonna occasionally throughout the year check in with you, and if you ever is like, oh, I'm super hungover, the next day I'm like, we have to record. It's Grimm time.
I know what I must do.
Grimm tales for the Grimm.
Oh God,
Yep. So yeah, that's this year's installment of Grimm's Fairytales. There are loads and loads more, and I really am looking forward to diving into more of them. But in the meantime, I guess the moral of the story was like, do roids, fuck with dead bodies. Oh God, no, I didn't mean like that. No, well, I guess I didn't mean it at all. But...
Apparently.
Okay.
Beat an old man to death with an iron bar, and
beat an old man to death with an iron bar,
and you'll become a king.
Oh, also, the way to take care of demon cats is to just grab them by the nape of the neck and throw them into a pond.
Yeah, fucking stab them and then just hoof them out a window.
Yeah, and if you get bored, like, of wanting to do something, just kill them.
Yeah. That poor wife, like, at what point is he just going to be like, I'm bored of you now, out the window?
It's time for the pond. I think you start out thinking that the father is the bad guy for disowning him, but by the end you're like, no, that was the correct move.
Yeah.
Like, don't ever come back, don't tell people where you're from, just fucking go. And of course, back then, you could go 30 feet away from your home and suddenly, like, adopt a new identity and no one would know who you were.
It's true. It was an easier, simpler time.
Yeah, exactly. Now he'd have to, like, start a new TikTok, start a new Gram.
We're not about that.
All that. No. Okay, so gonna wrap it up there, and I guess we'll enjoy the cold if it's cold where you are. I know global warming really sucks and the weather's been all over the place where we are, so I hope that you're having if you celebrate the holidays, I hope you're having a festive holiday break. If you don't, I still hope you're being festive and drinking and eating more than you should, because, fun times, not so much the drinking, don't make it a problem. However, hope you're having fun.
Yes, hope you're having a great time whenever it is, and maybe do some drinking though.
If you want.
Yeah, as someone who recently partook in quite a lot of drinking, maybe just.
Well, just make sure your Guinnesses are in Guinness glasses, because if they're not, bang.
Yeah, you're in trouble then. And I can't condone those actions.
Yep. We support. We are the hashtag support the Banshee movement.
Yeah. We're Guinness purists.
Hashtag let a girl live. God forbid a woman do anything. So, on that note, we will see y'all next time. Stay spooky, people.
Take it easy. Bye-bye.
Bye.